Well, hello again, everybody, and welcome to this week's Metaworld News. We are going to be bringing you the news highlights for the week ending the 10th of May 2020. Of course, none of us really know where we're coming or going at the moment. You almost got an April off me there, but it's all the
Yeah.
same. Night becomes day, day becomes night, weekdays become weekends, weekends become something, and something becomes something more or something less or very sameish. Ah,
It
isn't
all
lockdown
becomes part
wonderful?
of the milieu.
Yeah. And this is true. More and more people are actually commenting on the fact that the times of day and a lot of the old rhythms are disappearing, mostly because the prompts that kept the rhythms going, are just not there. So kind of interesting times. Um,
Yeah.
and a perfect time to get lost online, really. On Friday, I followed a link to hear somebody talk at something called the Lockdown Festival. Planned to go for about half an hour to hear them talk. Ended up it being in there for over 12 hours with a mix of art, poetry, music, performers, DJs, everything going on. And I conked out, which means fall asleep to those of you who don't speak Mal. um, long before it even finished. So there. Anyway, I'm here now, and we finished rolling the Watsits as I called the queue.
Wow.
My name is Mal Burns, MAL for short. Well, for real. And then space, BURNS. But on Twitter, you can find me squashed. Yes, Twitter squash everything. In fact, the web squashes everything, really. Twitter.com/Malburns, MALBURNS. And an additional link for you, twitter.com/Metaworld News. Two worlds squashed into one. Again, the latter is not such a busy feed. It's all to do with social virtual worlds, really. My main feed for everything VR and interfacing and virtual worlds and stuff is the twitter.com Mal Burns. And I'm here. Yes, I'm here bringing it all to you. And joining me is James Out Loud. Hello, James.
Hello, Mal. How are you today?
I am more or less the same as I was before we came on air.
Yeah.
But now I'm on air, I'm a bit more, trying to be a bit more alert
I
instead of
am
falling
as I
asleep.
was Saturday, as I was Friday, as I was
Well,
Thursday,
yes, of
and so on
course.
and so
We
on.
just, I am as I was,
Yeah.
and I am as I will be.
Very.
Indefinitely. There, that rhymes too.
It does. It's
That's a
very
bit of it's instant, not quite poetry. Yes.
little philosophical too.
I can't help that.
Yeah.
Get
Yeah.
that all the while, actually. Well, we don't do it here too much, thank goodness.
Right.
I just stick to unless I'm in the rabbit hole, and you know what happens then.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
philosophy for sure. Right, okay. Well, the other thing that James is wonderfully doing here is it's actually projecting my desktop. Well, he's receiving a feed from my desktop, which he's bringing into our studio here. So you've got a camera on my desktop as well as on my avatar, depending on, it can be me, the desktop, or both of us. That's
The
four shots
magic.
to start. That's four shots to start with, isn't it?
It's like magic.
Um, yeah. Anyway, James is pressing on. Well, he's on the keyboard at the moment, but he's also got a big thing here full of knobs in the centre of the desk, and he's got his monitor there, and sort of basically organising it all, and coming on to chat now and again too. So, welcome, yeah, welcome, James. Welcome
Welcome.
yourself.
Yep.
Right. I think I better get started with what we're here for, and that is to look at some of the news. And oh Lord, I'm opening the application Sofa Surfer for the first time.
Hmm.
Are you sure you want to open it? I don't even remember installing it, let alone opening it. Right, that's a bit odd, isn't it? I have an app on my Mac here called Sofa Surfer. If anybody out there actually knows what the hell it is, you can always tell me in text. Right, I don't know where it came from, but uh, who knows? It might be one of those things that connects the Mac to the iPad. Okay. Let me start properly. Hopefully, no more interruptions. The first page I got up is a page from virtualrealitytimes.com. That's actually three big long words: virtual reality times, all squashed together as squashing does. .com. And we actually mentioned this. I didn't have any kind of link for you last week on this particular item, but it's popped up since. We did actually mention this in our little talk at the end of the show last week, and that is that Steam VR have discontinued support for the Mac operating system. So if you're one of those many people, mostly gamers, I suppose, but also virtual worlds, if you did use Steam to access, software and load it to play it, then if you were doing it on the Mac, it's no longer going to happen for you. No, it's not. So this particular post is at virtualrealitytimes.com, dated May the 3rd, and but basically they're announcing the news there and a little bit of background information if you really want background information about something that's now extinct. But there you go. Some people actually do like history online. So extinct services is like extinct animals, isn't it? It's there for the record. Okay, bye bye, Steam on the Mac.
Yep.
Bye bye. Yes, there it goes. Okay, so now I'm on the very latest. Okay, I've got the whole week loaded this week. You'll be pleased to know. This is dated. This is the beginning of the week. This is May the 4th, which is Monday. And this is scarredghost.com. SKARREDGHOST.com. And this is his regular weekly, he calls it the XR Week Peak. And it basically summarizes all the news, which is a lot of it would be stuff that I had on last week's show, a lot other stuff that's his own news. VR usage rising, Mozilla's open metaverse, and more. And connected headsets. You can see here complete summary of relevant news. Not actually the most extensive news page this week, but still a hell of a lot there, as you can see. Okay, so that's a print roundup of. Oh, blast. Right. Sorry, me and my pop ups. Right. You can find that at scarredghost.com. You'll be getting that site again a little bit later. Something else will be coming up from there. Can't even close it at the
Preview.
moment. There we are. There we are. Right, now I mentioned last week we're getting a lot more things from Medium, including I think I gave you a sort of site which is a selection, a portal for virtuality stuff from Medium. I'm pleased to say I've got quite a lot up today that I tweeted in the week, and they're all loading quite fine. So I guess they are either I've found a way of foxing their paywall, which I don't think I have, or they're somehow no longer behind the paywall. Who knows? Anyway, this is XR, of course, is MR, which is mixed reality, AR, augmented reality, VR, virtual reality, and um, there must be RR, real reality, or maybe they don't include that. I don't know, but XR is the bracketing name they give to everything these days, and this is a marketing report for the year about good old XR. Um, Nothing of great interest here that we don't cover ourselves in other ways, but while it is good summary articles, I mean, we all bump into people now and again who say, XR, what's that? You know, they sometimes say VR, what's that? Real old school there. Luddites, I don't know. Right, but it's always useful to have the old link around that you can send them to. So if you've got somebody who's into marketing and wants to know what it's all about, then maybe send them to medium.com. You can go to medium.com/virtual dash library. And that actually lists not only this article, but a whole load of other articles on a single page, so you can just click through to them. Otherwise, you can follow me, my links are there. And if you do want to give it to somebody, just bookmark it so you've got a bookmark to give them. Anyway, moving on, moving on. Oh, now how did that get there? Right, things on there. My tabs are moving. Right, okay. Um, this is a site called geekygadgets.com. GEEKY dash GADGETS.com. And um, again, I'm sure we covered this last week, although this was another piece on Monday about them. These are next generation virtual reality finger tracking controllers that Sony's been working on and delivered. I think they are just. I don't think they're prototypes. I think they're ready to go, but I don't think they're sort of shipping yet. So I'm not really sure. Um, yeah, here we are. No information yet on pricing or availability, but the site will keep you up to dated as it happens.
Yeah,
Anyway, that's what they.
the folks at VR Upload covered that this week, and that big square part in the picture on the left, they were saying
Yeah,
they believe that's a prototype battery because this would be for PlayStation VR, and
sure.
they can't imagine that big block down there. And on a prototype, I'm sure they developed a power source that was temporary while they're developing the product.
Right. Okay. So it is. I thought maybe it was going to be. Well, people hack these things, don't they? No sooner it's like
Oh,
Connect when it
true,
came out.
right?
It was only meant to be for Xbox, and suddenly people were using it on Windows. They
Mm-hmm.
just
Mm-hmm.
hacked the port or something on drivers, I guess. Um, yeah. Um, okay. They hype up the kind of use for it that is not particularly gaming. And I think PlayStation tends to be a gamer's platform, really.
Well,
I know
yeah,
it's great.
yeah.
You can use it for video and entertainment, and people have it on tour buses. Not that anybody's on tour anymore at the moment, but I mean, um, yeah, it's hard to imagine somebody having a PlayStation in an office where they wanted advanced finger tracking. But there we go. I don't know. You find that anyway at geekygadgets.com, who are an interesting site. They're not exactly hot on the news, but they get round to stuff that they think. Why is your page keeps coming up? We're meant to be here. Never mind. Okay. Moving on. This is a site called inverse.com, inverse.com. And the title is COVID-19 has created a new future for an older technology that was almost dismissed as a fad. And basically, guess what? That's old technology is it's called VR, virtual reality. Yeah, since the
Funny.
1980s, virtual reality has been pitched to the public as the future. But on the whole, the public hasn't been very interested. But now, yes, now. And yeah, it goes on about take up a VR and the appearing headsets being in Black Mirror, Ready Player One, and the obvious cultural influences and stuff. And yeah, nice little articles sent to somebody who wants a fairly comprehensive introduction to what it is. Um, and I mean, no, yeah, it's very true. This headline actually that it is an older technology that has often been dismissed as a fad. Are you still playing that game? Arm up, scratch the armpit, oof oof, monkey style. Yep. So yes, COVID has changed
Okay.
everything, and this is a new future. I'm moving on. I'm sounding a bit weird, aren't I?
Yeah.
Monkey styly,
Right, right.
dancing with myself here. This keeps going back to your linking. I'm going to move that tab somewhere convenient where it's not going to be in the way. Hopefully, let's try doing it this way. Okay. Oh God. Beat the lockdown blues with Home, the virtual art show. Yeah, now I've taken a post in quite a few oddities that I probably wouldn't normally bother with, being as anything that's sort of vaguely virtual. And no, I don't mean anything online is virtual, let alone the British excuse for Parliament. Um, but anything that is entertaining and especially art. So this is an online gallery experience created by our artist illustrator Martina Martian. I don't think that's her real name for some reason. No, you never know.
Never know.
Martina Martian.
Names
Yeah,
can be
great.
changed.
Yeah, great hair. Right, if that's her. Oh, yes, that is her. I think. Well, she supplied the yes, that is her. Right. Anyway, the website actually currently features 10 global artists, and here's how to get your art fixed while stuck in isolation. and then you get to read a whole load about it, including getting on the iPad with it. Oh, one of the DJs, Cold Cut, that was at this lockdown festival on Friday. Um, uh, they're part of Ninja Tune, the record label, for anybody who knows that. Uh, he played his whole set on an iPad app that they have built themselves, and I think it's called Ninja Mix, something like that. I haven't got it handy right now, but you can download it for free. Yeah, and you can load a whole load of cold cut packages and stuff, and remix them and play them live to your heart's content, and it can be different every time in terms of the mix. And you can make your own stuff with it too. I think in the future you're going to be able to buy mix albums and things from their artists and, put the package into the app. But the app is standalone and works a little treat. It was really fascinating seeing the mix being created live on the virtual stage. Sorry, it was on webcam to be honest, but he had the iPad connected up to an input feed where the webcam would normally be, and he actually watching him at work, so to speak. That was quite fascinating. And I remembered to mention that because it is downloadable for those of you who fancy yourselves as mixed DJs or whatever. Right.
Yeah, cool idea.
I think it's on Android too, but I can't. So anyway, it's Ninja as Ninja, and then it's something like Ninja Mix or something like that. You'll find it, I'm sure, at the App Store. Right. Anyway, yeah. Scenes from this one. Sorry. Now the site I'm at here actually is called the South African. So it's in their section essay abroad, meaning South Africa abroad, I guess. www.thesouthafrican, three words together as one, and then .com. And this is posted on again. Oh no, this is on the third, so this was actually posted last Sunday. Um, right. But you can read more about it and everything else by going along there. And May 1st to the 8th, that does suggest that this show is actually over now, though I suspect there's bits of it online still. But interesting anyway. Let's move on. Let's move on. Can't afford to spend too much time on any given thingy. It's done this again. I get this is our private page, but I can't find anywhere to hide it. Um, right, this is a bit annoying. Right, let me see if I can. Can I get that into another section? No, I can't. Darn it. Oh yeah, move tab to workspace 2. There we are. It's gone. Of course, I'll keep it open and forget I've got it open now. Okay, yeah. Virtualize, you can bring the outdoors in, but is it a patch on the real thing? Well, no, of course it's not. But somebody wanted to raise the matter as an article. I like the shirt.
Yeah, yeah.
you, you could obviously see where Photoshop work being done on the shirt. I always like that kind of trick. Right, virtualizing nature and the front to the glory of the natural world, or a much needed tool for those unable to experience the great outdoors. Well, arguably, somebody out there is going to say both.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because whilst you can't experience the great outdoors, this is a much needed tool. On the other hand, maybe it is an affront to the glory of the natural world, though. Bullshit, frankly. They're two separate things. And, I think the point here is that, virtual reality is allowing you to experience a simulation of being the word, of course, of the outdoors when you can't actually get to the outdoors. Um, it's sort of, I suppose it's like living outdoors and not being able to get into a building for shelter. So you go put on a helmet and go indoors in virtual reality. Come on, it's an excuse to write an article, isn't it? So there we go. Quite a long article at that. The site we're at here, it's not National Geographical, is it? It's geographical.co.uk. So it's a British geography publication. I guess it's bringing the news of virtual reality to geography people around the UK. geographical.co.uk for that one. And yeah, that was published on the 9th of May, which is yesterday.
Hmm.
I think that's no, that can't be right. I'm not at that point in the week yet. Right. That's probably one of these clocks that changes every day just to confuse you. So it's probably been there, every day with a different date on it. Anyway, let's move on from there. God, that close without my help. Right. There's weird stuff going on here today. Okay, festivals. Helsinki, that's in Finland, had a huge VR gig that hints at the potential of virtual tourism. Now, I did mention this on a previous show, but I think it was well mentioned that it was actually on. This is actually an article at the Guardian newspaper here in the UK, and it's got a um, whole spiel on the festival itself, um, and of course, pointing the way for big events online. Really, you find the article. Tuesday, 5th of May. Article is by Sarah Baxter, and you find it at The Guardian. That's TheGuardian.com. And yeah, not much to say about that. A few pretty pictures too, as well, of course. Um, okay, moving on. Right, I thought I told you to go away. Oh, no wonder. Okay, my whole thing got to be out of order. Something to do with that tab I had to hide. Right. Okay. Right. I think we're back on track here. Right. Well, we don't want any nightmares at the moment, but I think this is quite important. Um, yeah, it was actually the end of the Second World War in Europe that was celebrated on Friday, but there was in Second Life there was a wonderful build of World War One experiential kind of simulation. A good few years ago, and my late partner Tara actually did a machinima film of it. And yeah, I think you can still find it online at the very channel you're watching on at the moment. I think I uploaded it here. You'll have to hunt back a bit anyway.
Yeah, I'm sure I've seen that.
Um,
Yep.
it's about life in the trenches. This, however, is a totally different thing. Peter Graham writes about the nightmarish hellscape of World War One in War Remains, which is an immersive VR experience based in the trenches and due to come out later this month. And it debuted as an installation at the Tribeca Film Festival, and then it won the Out of Home VR Entertainment of the Year award. It's called War Remains, by the way. It's a visceral educational experience, and takes place on the Western Front, allowing viewers to bear witness to an active battle scene, etc., etc. It is highly commended. It just sounds like one of these really worthwhile things, and it will be coming shortly and be actually available online. Now, this article pre, pre, focusing on it is at vrfocus.com. That's vrfocus.com. And they do actually mention at the bottom here that there's the 1943 Berlin Blitz is on the same theme, and that's available from the BBC. And immersive VR education is also on Steam. Oh, sorry. I'm reading this wrong. Yeah, 1943 Berlin Blitz is by the BBC and Immersive VR Education. and you can get it on Steam. This new version will be available for Oculus Rift, HTC Vive, and Valve Index via Steam and Oculus Store. So there you go. Um, not the most comfortable of an evening's experience, really, but probably it's not as long as a 5 hour epic movie. Right, moving on. That was VRFocus.com. Okay, now this is weird. This is a site we get quite a lot from. Digitalbodies.net, digitalbodies.net, and May 10th. That's today. That's this morning. Now I know I'm in the right place. Virtual reality hygiene and safety issues post coronavirus. Um, I don't quite get the idea of post coronavirus. I would think you could take coronavirus out of the headline. Really, it's just VR hygiene and safety issues. Whatever the case, or whatever the time, really. Anyway, they've been people have been publishing comprehensive guides and stuff like that, and reopening guidance document. Oh, who knows? But useful to know. I mean, everybody's got the government message to wash your hands every time you come in to take, thoroughly scrub off anything you've touched when you've been out. They don't always, um, obviously, in these days and times, I can't see people sharing headsets or controllers or anything else. Although it wouldn't surprise me if they do, because some people are pretty dumb. Um, but it's yes, James sniggering there. But they are, aren't they? I've seen it for myself.
Well, I
People who
wondered about when you said everybody's gotten the message, and I have to think not everybody's gotten the message.
not everybody has, yeah. Oh well, anyway, it's just good hygiene, and to even if it's just you and using your headset quite a lot, it picks up germs from where you leave it lying around and stuff. So, you need to um, uh, watch. Um, there's a bit of PR in here too. So somebody called Holligate. They're offering medical grade ultraviolet C light sanitation from
Mm.
a company called Cleanbox and stuff like that. But anyway, safety first, as they say. So what was that? Oh yeah, digitalbodies.net had that little post uh, for this week. All right, close that one. Okay, you can't see the headline here, but the headline that's just off screen says retailers are opening high street shops in virtual reality. And this is inevitable. It's been happening for a while, actually, and in fact, this post dates back to April 29th this year, so it's not old, but, it's a week or two old. And it is a good point that it's always been fine for you to go to many shops, high street shops that have actually had online stores, and you look at the photograph and you see the price and you click a button that says add to my cart and then you say how many you want and then it adds up at the end and they send it off to you when they get the money. But it's not very imaginative way of shopping. I mean, it's actually probably okay if you're, say, buying art prints or something where all you need is a still picture to see what you're buying, because what you're buying is actually a big picture in a frame, maybe. But when it comes to clothing, you tend to want to try it on. So it's best to they give you an avatar so you can test it out on yourself. Preferably an avatar with your own face and body, and then you can look in a virtual mirror and all this sort of stuff. Ways of actually recreating the real world shopping experience online. And some retailers are working on this. As you can see from the picture, it's you've got a clothing retailer there. I don't think they've got any. No, they don't have any other images in the article. Um, but yeah, a new trend, another one of these essential trends, really. I actually know there's a well-known retailer over the road from me called Marks and Spencers. They're quite famous, although they're closing a lot of their stores now. They're also famous for their food halls, and at the moment the food halls are allowed to be open.
Mm.
because
Mm.
that's an essential service. But to get to the food hall in my local one, you actually have to walk. Though you can't go shopping for clothes, you have to walk through a specially constructed entranceway that takes you 2 meters apart through the clothing area. It's just so bizarre.
Mm-hmm.
You're walking through a deserted store full of clothes, and then you get down, then you get through it and follow the escalator down into the basement, which is the food hall. And you go, having got your shopping, you come up the same way and you go through another corridor to the great outdoors again. And it's just surreal because
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
not just a food shop, you see, whereas most food shops, supermarkets, the queuing takes place outside. But the queuing sort of takes place inside because it's in the queue is in the clothing area. Anyway, I digress. We're almost on the rabbit hole. I got this darn Mac wheelie going on again. I don't know what's going on in the background of this machine today, but it's not
I
crashing
hope
me,
it's
so I
not an
guess we're
invasion. Yeah.
no, it's not crashing me or anything. And no, I think it's just chosen this point in time to do some of its background industrious stuff that it does.
That happened to me
Um,
last night. I
it,
was playing a intense video game and right in the middle of a big boss battle, my computer started virus checking.
oh God, was it a Windows one?
Yeah, and it was,
Yeah.
and I should have known that. I know I even
Yeah.
scheduled it, but that was a terrible battle.
Yeah, because I mean, Windows is the Mac just does stuff and gets on with it, but it can slow you down a bit.
Right.
But the Windows one, just any Windows task there is hogs 100% of the processor and 100% of the RAM,
my
and and let alone two Microsoft tasks working at once. You better just keep your fingers crossed and hope the machine doesn't blow up.
my poor character died so many times.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, it's not fair.
Not fair,
Microsoft.
right?
Yeah, Microsoft's sticking their bloody nose into everything. You can't even have fun in lockdown without Microsoft. Even the Microsoft adverts on TV now, they've. Oh, Microsoft is here to save the world in lockdown, and this is what we can do for you. That and God, it makes you want to yawn or cringe. I'm not sure which. Ugh. Um, now, mind you, the IBM ones are good. The IBM ones have, well, they've obviously examined what they're not just taking advantage of the situation. They've obviously completely rethought their approach to things. Anyway, I shall. I don't watch TV ads anyway, as a rule. So when I
Uh,
do, I notice. So when I do, I notice them. Right. Anyway, yeah. Retailers opening virtual shops in virtual reality. This site is called Room. Buzz. I would love this. Right. VRROOM. Room. If you could see
that's
the
good.
logo with it. Yeah, room, and then dot buzz. Yeah, the suffix is buzz. I didn't know there was a suffix called buzz. Buzz, it beats co UK, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Room dot buzz, and that's April 29th. That article. So Vroom program and Vroom app, Vroom events. Oh, this is interesting. Right, these are actually this site Vroom appears to be hosting various events too, which are presumably online playable stuff. Well, I'm live and I'm talking to you, so I'm not going to start clicking on things to explore
Little,
here.
yep,
But
yep. Little rabbit hole.
if you,
Little rabbit hole
yes,
there.
exactly. If you click on their logo, it takes you to the VR Room program. And the only thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add it to the speed dial so that I can get back in there later and find out a bit more. Looks like I know I've been to the site before, but I may have missed it. Where did that come from? I put that one away, didn't I? I thought I put that one away. Right, and there's a really interesting one. Fire. Okay. Back on track again. Uploadvr.com. We go here quite often. VR is the letters. Uploadvr.com. Talking of upload, the program I was mentioning at the end of last week's show has been getting an awful lot of review coverage this week. I'm not going to go back to it, but I think it was on Amazon. It's a great 8 episode program.
Oh, right,
Right.
right. We talked about that.
Yeah. Yeah. Did you get a chance to see it?
Not yet. I
Not
was
yet.
I was
Nah.
fighting that terrible boss in my game, so that took everything out of
Oh.
me.
Oh dear. All right. Fair enough. Fair enough. Even the Second Life groups are going on about how
Oh, sure.
you know
Perfect.
yeah, it's the future Second Life Online. Don't know about that, but there we go. Right, anyway, this is uploadvr.com, and Oculus sales have boosted, Beat Saber Automats, Win Megalith VR recap, and it is just that. I forget whether this is probably been posted direct to one of my video feeds too, but it's basically a YouTube program called VR Recap. Very quick and easy to watch. And it's really covers the last 7 days. This one comes out sort of midweekish, so and it's a different style of thing to what I'm doing here. Um, yeah, very brief summary there of what was in the news, but the basic idea is you click on that video or you click right through and go to YouTube if you want it as well. Okay, let's put that one away. So that was uploadvr.com. And it didn't want to go, did it? Oh, not you again. Where is?
We could name
Okay,
the
I have
program
no.
Mal's Adventure with web browsers.
I think yeah, something is very odd today. I normally
Yeah.
click on my tabs and whatever. Okay, a smaller, lighter Oculus Quest with better displays reportedly in the works. This is appearing all over the place. I
Yep.
imagine
Yep.
it is in the works rather than reportedly in the works. Um, I don't know. Better display, smaller, lighter. Um, who knows? I suppose the Oculus Go. I don't know whether the Oculus Go is even available anymore. There's still stuff for it. They moved to Quest, and they'll just keep bringing bigger and better ones out. It's like computers, really. Um, Operating systems. Well, with the exception of Windows, which doesn't get better and better. It gets worse and worse. But rabbit hole again, right?
Opinionating. Opinionating.
Okay.
Right.
Yes, right. Anyway, you'll find this article at techspot.com, techspot.com, dash news, etc. And that was May the 5th. We'll move on from that. Hopefully, I can move on to a new article. Oh, gosh, golly, yes. Okay, this again is fairly anecdotal. It's basically just an article with a list of some of the most photorealistic virtual reality travel experiences, which isn't too hard to be because most of the 360 video stuff you see is actually taken from made with photographs. So the fact that they're photorealistic is not really any surprise. But what they're talking about here is one of the most photorealistic interpretations, I suppose. So it's just a roundup. You'll find it at Virtual Reality Times, 3 words squashed together as one. Yeah, I'm sure you know how to spell that, virtualrealitytimes.com. And yeah, they look at the Chernobyl VR project. The pictures aren't rendering for me, which is probably a good thing. Mount Everest, Nefertiti. Well, needless to say, there's a whole load of them as we go down there. Shame about the pictures. I don't know what's happened there. Oh dear, one of those days. Maybe my machine's RAM is just look. I've got a wheelie there. Yeah, it's probably deciding it doesn't want to load the pictures. Okay, a roundup of realistic virtual reality there at VR Time, virtualrealitytimes.com. You
Hmm.
cheeky sod. I don't know why it's coming up because I deleted it. Okay. Oh, this is quite a fun thing. This is VR Scout, VRSCOUT.com.
Oh yeah.
Are human-sized hamster balls the future of VR? Well, that's one way of describing them. We covered this before. I'm sure we covered it last week, but with
Mhm.
a headline like that, I had to add it again, didn't I?
Mhm.
This
That's
is for
good.
a company called A8360, an omnidirectional sphere promises a whole new level of immersion. And believe it or not, I think if I had room to put one of those things and probably afford it either, could probably go with that. You won't get me in a pair of Oculuses, but I'd probably be happy to sit in something like that if it didn't, give me a fit or something. Anyway, the device is called Nova. Their own CEO refers to it as the crazy spinning ball of death.
Fair
Oh,
enough.
that's a good way for a
That's
CEO to
good.
advertise this product.
Mhm.
Yeah, you may see be jumping into VR through this device, and yeah, um, driven by Omni wheels located at the base of a giant ball. Um, Nova, at first glance, resembles a human-sized gerbil ball, and instead of housing an adorable furry creature, the device instead contains state-of-the-art technology designed to amplify your headset experience. So you still meant to wear a headset? Oh, come on, just pushing it. I don't mind jumping into one of those. I don't want to put a clunky headset on. I suppose you would really, wouldn't you? Because there's never mind, never mind. Anyway, yeah, more great fun, great fun. Read all about it at vrscout.com. Post was on May the 6th. That's about 4 days ago. And talking, moving on. I'm getting pissed off with you. Where is that? Right, it's there. So if I close it, right, we won't be seeing any more of that. I hope. Now we can come back up to this side of the screen. Okay. Immerse UK social platforms webinar series. Immerse UK is obviously based in the UK here, but they're online. They're forever twittering and stuff like that, and they're holding these webinars online. Uh, UK times. You do need to book your place at these, but I don't think it actually costs you anything as a rule to actually go on them. Tomorrow, 11th of May. Now, this is from 4:30, 16:30 through to 17:30, but these will be UK times, right? So 4:30 in the afternoon here would be about 8:30. Yeah, well, it would be 8:30 in the morning in California, and obviously a bit later than that as you go east in the states. And be it if you're in Europe, of course, it will be later rather than earlier, so it'd be more like 5:30 in France. Anyway, and on Tuesday, same time, 4:30 to 5:30, exploring via Bella and meeting VR. Tomorrow, Monday is exploring Rumi and Alt Space. Um, and oh yeah, it's got a few links here to the yeah. Most of these are available as recordings afterwards too. Um, so they've they got one from April the 7th, which is focused on Engage and Mozilla. And yeah, well, anyway. So whether you're in the UK or not, as long as you're up early enough in California, I can even go to these. But you do need to book your place as well. So the site you want for this is immerseuk.org. IMMERSEUK.org. Right, moving on. Yay! I was able to move on. Okay, now it's moved. Well, it's still not performing like it should do, but at least it's got rid of digital bodies. Okay, this wants to reload, or does it? I appear to have lost. Okay, well, let's try this one instead. This is a site called basereality.co. So that's basereality.co, just a co. Um, Says it already, the 25 most influential women to follow in VR in 2020.
Hmm.
Many of which we've heard of, some others we probably haven't heard of. maybe you've heard of none of them, but anyway, it's a long, long list, and it also includes a nice little summary on each of the 25 of them. So there's no way I'm scrolling down this and reading it out to you, but lovely, lovely roundup there. And also, that if you need people to follow on Twitter or whatever, you can, yeah, yeah. Most of them, there's a link here where you can, if you fancy them, you can follow them on Twitter or elsewhere. But they tell you all about it there. So great article. And I'm always keen to promote women working in the field, or any field for that matter, really. Right, so this is called basereality.co.
Hmm.
Right, okay. Right, this is another offbeat site at www.ibc. That's International Business Concoctions, something, I don't know. IBC, that's all you need to
Good
know.
guess. Right.
.org. .org. The consuming department is XR the answer to delivering the new normal? Well, um, right. You have to. Yeah, it's right. We've got to pay. Right. It looks like you have to go through the paywall to read the whole article. You get a little summary there. I have a feeling this. I think I had the full article, but then again, that wasn't here. That was when I was getting it through a newsreader. Okay, IBC dot org for that one. Not much more I can say about that. Okay, it's done it again. It skipped to the beginning of the week.
Hmm.
I'm just going to stay at the beginning of the week. Actually, I don't know. I don't. If I do that, it will go even more work. Okay, this is well, actually, many of you as here will know this site, although one doesn't go here very often. This is the Rockcliffe University Consortium. So their website is urockcliffe.com. UROCKCLIFFE.com, or one word there. And going virtual with the Journal of Virtual Studies. Now, the Journal of Virtual Studies is a sort of academic document they put out every so often, really. But each year, one of them actually focuses on the Virtual's Best Practices in Education conference, and this year's is no exception. Um, Now what? Um, oh yeah, sorry. Okay. Yeah, it's got summaries of the different panels and those of us, because I can include myself in this, who took part. Um, Basically, you have to follow the various links in blue on this page to actually get to the nitty gritty of stuff to read. Um, that's the main one is here. The new proceedings is available at volume 11, number one. And if you click who's there we are, and then that takes you to the May issue, and you can read it in magazine mode. Maybe you have to. Sorry, I'm getting a bit confused here as to what's what. Application is loading. Is this going to issue? No. Okay. Okay. I don't know where this is hosted. It may be at Flipboard. Anyway, all these articles mostly are written summaries of all the sessions that took place at VWBB. Some of them aren't actually more elaborate than what was written in the program in the first place, but you can you get the idea. Yeah, it's the stuff at the beginning is probably really the only unique stuff. Anyway, so that was urockcliffe .org, was it? I think. I can't even give you this link. It's clicked me through to something more complicated. Here we are, urockcliffe.com. UROCKCLIFFE.com for all this. Okay. Right. Oof. Right, back to something we know. No, that is the last tab I want at the end of the show. Right, okay. Voices of VR, their podcast. Voices of VR. three words as one, VRletters .com. Number two, I think either this is the only one of the week or there's only one other. Sunday, the only one I've got highlighted here. Um, 912. It's unbelievable how many of this guy's done in about a year
Mm-hmm.
or
Yeah.
two. Um, Virtual conferences, lessons learned from IEEE VR and experiential design trade-offs, etc. Um, so summary, as you can see here, but Voices of VR is actually an audio podcast. You can play it from here, or you can click on links at the top of the page, in fact, to subscribe to it in a regular podcast player or whatever. Always a good listen. It's the sort of thing you can have playing instead of the radio in the background. It's long enough that you don't have to just put it on for 10 minutes and then find something else. You can let it play for the duration. I don't know how long this one is, but and it won't tell me until I click, so I'm not going to try it. Anyway, find that the link to that anyway, voicesofvr.com, and that's their last one, most recent. If this thing doesn't stop taking me back. Okay, we're back to scarghost.com, SKARREDGHOST.com, and a review on the Vive Cosmos external tracking faceplate brackets elite.
Mm.
Oh dear. Now this doesn't necessarily mean it's an elitist toy, but it's simply, I don't know, what is it about gaming? You get keyboard, the XR89267 Elite Super, what does it all mean? I don't know.
It's like audio equipment,
Yeah, and it's elite because
right?
it's double the price of the normal one, but by the time it comes on the shelves, something has outpriced it. Oh dear. Then you meant to think the thing you're buying is somehow makes you one of the elite.
Marketing.
Just
Marketing at its
marketing.
best.
Marketing rubbish, yeah. Anyway, this is Gargo's review, so I'm not going to blame him for the title. He goes through everything to the unboxing, to setting it up, the design. As well as people that likes to go through the whole works. Obviously got some videos there to show off as well. Um, Availability and price. So yeah, this is the one. The faceplate is $200 already on sale. The Elite headset is going to be $550 for the headset, or you can get the bundle, which includes wands and base stations for 900 US dollars. And some final thoughts, anyway. Yeah, bit techie there. I mean, but some people like to see the nods in photographs, don't they? I'm getting really. Oh, I'm going to be. Okay, this is the very beginning of the week, May the 9th, unlocking the potential of Enterprise XR. I'm so fed up with this keep popping up when it shouldn't that we'll cover it now. There's nothing much to cover here.
Mm.
How a company is investing in, implementing, evaluating the ROI on VAR in enterprise markets. And yeah, Volvo, Volvo, HSBC, they're a bank, aren't they? Market overview. And God knows what that's meant to be all about. Yoda on a hologram. Is that just a clip from? It must be from Star Wars somewhere. Right. Okay. Whatever that's got to do with it. Okay. So this was at vrscout.com. Yes. Again, VR the letters, then SCOUT. And if I put it away, I don't know what will happen. Oh, okay. So it's going to move forward down the week now. Okay. Well, what the hell? I'm sure you don't worry out there. Okay. This is a podcast called The Immersive Wire. You can listen on Spotify, but oh yeah, you can go to all these other places to get it, or you can simply get an RSS feed and block it in your own. If you've got your own podcast player like I have, so you just take the RSS from that link, or you can play it on the page here. This link goes to the latest one with an interview with somebody called Johnny Keeley, um, and yeah, you can also, by the look of it, get at the previous episodes from here as well. Um, yep. but not the most um, enticing of podcasts, should we say, but interesting nonetheless. Well worth having a listen to if you've got some spare time and nothing else in the queue. Right. Okay, another article at Medium. Again, no paywall needed by the look of it. Why use social VR in lockdown? Marco Gillies attempts to tell us. His picture is from Altspace VR, and he calls that a selfie. So that's what the author looks
Mm.
like. We'll have you know. Yeah. Um, I suppose he uses a typewriter. It doesn't. That hand doesn't look flexible enough to write with. So, right. Yeah. 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 I'm glad I'm making you laugh. Or
Don't.
I'm making James laugh. I don't know
Right.
whether
Right.
the people at home are probably thinking, who is this asshole? Alright. Anyway, a couple of weeks ago, they wrote a post comparing social VR with video calling as methods for keeping in touch, working during lockdown, blah, blah, blah. Since then, we had a class in Altspace for our masters in virtual and augmented reality. It was nice to get a chance to use VR for teaching, blah, blah, blah. So they're giving a nice little write up to that. The sites you want is medium.com. And if you go to, oh, I've forgotten the shortcut again, virtual library, wasn't it, or something? About medium.com. To get the direct link to this article, just follow the name of the article on my Twitter feed. And I better remind you at this point, it's twitter.com slash Malburns, Malburns. I'm also just thinking to look back at the studio, and I know I haven't got a logging you out message yet. So we're doing quite well today, aren't we? Right. There'll be one now, turn away, there'll be one popping up. Yeah, okay, so yeah, they look at everything here, bandwidth, stuff to do, so everything you need to know, really. So, good little article there. Medium's quite a good source of opinion articles that are just straightforward. Right. Okay, now this is a site called interestingengineering.com.
Mm.
Yeah, that's quite a long-winded name. Interestingenging. Interesting engineering, all one word.com. And this is just interesting, I think. I mean, you know, if the hardware side of VR, everybody needs a headset. Unless you're into like me, you're quite happy with 2D virtual worlds. And there are different headsets and everything. But this article is, I can't actually remember seeing not a similar article in focus really. It's technology is complex, but it's easy to understand. I guess for engineers here really. Um, it basically goes into you know, it doesn't matter whether it's Oculus, PlayStation, Vive, or any of the other things. They have a lot in common in terms of the way they are all put together. And oh, that's funny. I was pretty sure. Okay, this may be just because of where I'm showing it you. I'm pretty sure that I read, and maybe it's just that one. I thought this article was more heavily illustrated. But basically, it's all about the innards of a headset and how they work. Everything from the lenses that you used to find in the old Google Cardboard things through to the more complex sensors and things that the modern ones have. Sort of inside the science or engineering in this case, I guess, for those interested. Right, a question mark. Don't you love posts with question marks?
I do
Is
not.
the virtual No, I don't really either. But is virtual reality missing its moment? Um, I hardly think so. Also, of course, you know, again, Facebook, Oculus. You know, what's the first thing that gets mentioned? um, it goes on, mentions Facebook Spaces. This really is almost an article about Facebook. So maybe I agree with the idea of missing their moment, but I wouldn't. I don't think they are actually. They're just
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
they are probably doing the opposite. They're racing ahead, hopefully monopolizing with the name of taking everybody else out of business and becoming the one-stop portal for our 3D online future. But we'll see. Anyway, interesting article. Bit too much about the Zuckerberger, but whatever. Um, that is at
Oh,
techspot.com. techspot.com. And written by somebody called Sean Knight.
and you just
Right.
got logged out of Kitely.
Oh goodness gracious! Right. Okay. Hang on. I'm here. I'm here. Oh! It doesn't give you much time. I only just
Not
looked.
today, right?
God, the cheeky sods. Serves me right for looking. And now I can click I'm here, but I'm not here. Stupid. It's actually I still am here.
Oh,
But
okay.
in well, I'm in black and white, so it probably doesn't count. It says like an I am, but you can't see me, can you?
You've been logged out.
Right, so I will have to exit and come in again. Okay, well, I will keep talking. Oh, now we lost the screen share too. What's going on here? I think I put my elbow on the wrong keyboard.
Well, I
I don't
still
know.
see a share.
Yeah, but you're getting the wrong thing. You're getting a black thing,
Okay.
and now you're getting my podcast feeds. Oh, there we are. Right. Okay. So, yeah, a bit too much about Facebook and stuff on this particular article. Virtuality missing its moment. However, techspot.com, techspot.com. And I think I was on the verge of moving to a new article, which is when everything went wrong here. Okay, this bloke recreated his local pub in VR so he can drink with his mates. It's the most British thing we've ever seen.
I love that.
And an example of how quickly VR technology is evolving, but it's actually a perfect example. Now, I can't read out from it and load my. Hang on, I just need to move over here again very briefly and all that. Firestorm's already running. What a bleeding. Oh, computers. Can't live without them, can't live with them. Right. Um, yeah. Now, how did he do this? That's it. That's his local pub. It's one called Chicane's in London. Now, for those of you who don't know, London's a rather big city. In fact, it's lots of towns altogether making up the city. So I have actually no idea where that pub is. They say there's 5 pubs in every average street in London, so go figure.
Mm-hmm.
What if you can make this local in VR? Now, oddly enough, the Greyhound pub, which is right down the road next door to me here, has a virtual incarnation inside Second Life, and it's quite a popular venue. Although, ironically, for people that fancy the idea of being in London rather than actually live in London, but there you go. Anyway, how did he recreate it? VR is having its iPhone moment, is it? Gosh. Oh, Cross used Quixel's Megascans library of textures to give his 3D models realistic appeal. Oh, he used the Unreal Engine from Epic. Okay, fair enough. And that's what he built it from. And that's what it looks like inside. Whether those are avatars, which are quite nice, um, of his friends meeting in the pub, or whether those are actually models, realistic models. Uh, okay, no, in this guy's game, his friends are actually lifeless. They've just got a few pre-programmed catchphrases. But I think that's just cute anyway, isn't it? The idea of he found himself locked indoors, so he decided to, dig up all the textures and everything he needed and build a copy of his local pub because he wasn't allowed to go down there anymore. And he drinks alone with his mates because his mates are lifeless. Oh, I can think of a few more social places to put him, but I still think that is a lovely. That's a lovely little idea.
Mm-hmm.
This article is at somewhere called inputmag.com. That's inputmag.com. And it's got a www in front of it, though I'm pretty sure in this day and age you don't actually need such a thing. But yeah, so down to the pub with lots of lifeless models, and Yep. Okay. James will be happy to know that my avatar is
We're back.
returned.
All right.
Okay, not for that long
We have
probably
to
now,
keep the
but let's
illusion
see.
alive, Mel.
We do indeed. We do indeed. Of course, we could do this in Zoom, and I could put an avatar on against the background of
We
Zoom.
could.
Not
We
worry.
could.
It might be worth trying that. I'm having well, I'm going to leave that to the end. Some thoughts I've been having. Right. Okay. The bloke in his pub. Off you go. All right. Back to Medium. Why should you science the shit out of your VR experience? That's a weird headline. Science the shit out of it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But actually, it's Jessica Outlaw who wrote this. So, despite her language, good writer, good person. Um, and she talks about reading Steve Lavell's virtual reality book and etc. And talks a bit of science. It's not a particularly long article, but it's sort of, well, it's her really, isn't it? Um, okay, so again, you find that at medium.com. Get a direct link via twitter.com/malburns. Um, the link to, oh, actually, well, I don't know what it actually worked. This isn't Medium, but it seems to be a subsite called virtualitypop.com. So virtual reality pop, that's POP, or three words as one, .com. And if you go to that site, I'll actually try getting to. No, it's not doing it for me. That might get you through to it too, but you can always follow from my Twitter feed if you need be. All right, VRScouts.com yet again. Oh, this is rather curious, I thought. L, if you've never come across it, is a woman's magazine. It's well known in the West here, but they have a Chinese edition, as I suppose is to be expected. And they've debuted a heterodimensional feature of virtual idols in massive 16-page spreads. So um, this is a Playboy with naked women or Playgirl with naked men. This is naked avatars. Well, not quite. It's not quite what it is, but I'm just tempted. It's conceptually, I guess it's the same kind of thing. Um, um, the Chinese version targets Generation Z readers with science and technology inspired fashion. And they refer to them in that part of the world, well, increasingly over here now, as virtual beings, artificial humans that offer all the benefits of influence and marketing without any of the accompanying headaches. For example, models who criticize the person they're working for. Gosh, can't have that. We'll have a virtual model instead. They don't talk back.
Mm-hmm.
Right. But anyway, as you can see, that's like one spread from the magazine, and there's a bit more. It's just a spread, photo spread of virtual people. Odd to say the least. Anyway, this whole little article, including some links, you'll find at vrscout.com. Cur- Curiosities of this world never cease to amaze me. I suspect something like that more of Japan than China, but there you go. Right, this is a link to the directory.thevara.com. The Vara bit is Thevara. We had something from them last week, but basically they've just updated, which is I'm sure I've had this up before, but it's been updated. They've now got 4,403 vendors and brands registered, and this is really so people can search for them, people to author VR sites or whatever, and they include, recent sites there. But it's uh, it's a useful link to have because you can just go there and if you know a name or have some kind of keyboard, you can I don't know, let's say I type in immersive worlds and hit return and see what they come up with. No, okay, want me to hit the button instead. Right, but it's not working. Maybe I need to sign in up there first. Anyway, the directory dot the oh, okay, it's just being slow. Okay, that's not a good sign. if a search engine takes that long and actually doesn't bother to show you anything at the end anyway. Um, okay, subcategories. Yeah, okay. I could be here all day, and I don't intend to be doing that when I'm live. Well, I don't actually intend to be doing that at all, to be honest. Right. And finally, final post of the week here. Um, I think it was last week. I let you know that I was still trying to download. What was it? Or the thing that would get me Fortnite or something. And James was saying I hope to see me with a weapon or something. And I mentioned that he probably wouldn't because they were starting this social world inside it. Fortnite's Party Royal Concert was what it was, the first event there, and it was just what we needed tonight, say the authors. Fortnite's new non-violent Party Royal mode held its first big event, a concert of three different EDM musicians. It was more modest than in-game events we've seen recently, but like so many Fortnite events, I feel too old for its exuberant but like so many Fortnite events I felt too old for, its exuberant charm won me over in the end. So they had a party royal in Fortnite. I won't be going there. I've just given up trying to get the thing to
No,
download.
you're
Well,
not
I can't get the
going.
thing. I can't. I've given up trying to get the thing to download on my machine. I mean, I'll stick with programs that actually. And well, anyway, that's the last
I'm
article from
so
here. To,
disappointed.
well, talking of which, of course, there was the Adult Swim event on Friday. No, last night. Was it last night? No, Friday night. That was right. I logged into it at the same time as this other lockdown festival on another machine, and I went there. I got downloaded the proper viewer for it and registered for it and everything else there, and I got it. It wasn't open until half past the hour,
Hmm?
and I was there at 29 minutes to. Couldn't get in. I'm not allowed into the region. It's full, and they actually sent me to a newbie centre. Go figure. I mean, um, one of the reasons I moved to OpenSim and stuff like that was I got fed up of being, following links to events in Second Life that was so full I couldn't get in. Don't put on events if you can't accommodate the number of people you're trying to get in. My intention again was to test out the new viewer and exactly how they were handling media streaming, but of course I didn't get a chance because since I couldn't get to the region, despite being having the right viewer and being registered, so I just logged out and got on with a proper party.
And what was the platform?
It was Second Life.
Oh, Second Life. Adult Swim did
Yeah.
something in Second Life.
Yeah, it's this big thing. We
Oh,
talked about it
oh.
last week. I mean, it was on Linda's page. I mean, you couldn't miss it. And no doubt, no, I don't know how many people would have registered for it or stuff like that, but
Hmm.
by the sound of it, they accepted more registrations than they had this thing could hold.
Mm-hmm.
And I was only 1 minute past the half hour. It started on the hour, and the Sims weren't open until half hour. So I was like 1 minute.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I was really there on the half hour to the dot, and it happened. A few luminaries obviously got in, but because they read about it afterwards. But I couldn't. And basically, one of the reasons for it is that the Second Life viewer, the new special edition they issued for it, contains new different ways of streaming media into Second Life.
Mm.
It's not just a simple media on a prim anymore. They claimed that you could. Now this show right streams to YouTube, and if I put YouTube's this video on the prim in Second Life, it plays in Second Life. So why they were saying that until now you couldn't stream live into Second Life, I don't know.
Yeah.
Virtual World's Best Practices was able to stream live into. I mean, obviously the idea was to stream out from the world onto the web, but you could bring it in on a prim. But I don't know. Apparently, Lindens apparently think this partnership with Adult Swim is going to allow them to do this idea. But actually, it sounded like more of a publicity gimmick. I mean, I think they showed two old episodes of Adult Swim and a new unseen special, which launches a new season or something. I'm not sure since I didn't actually wasn't able to get in. Um, it was all lost on me. Um, and I also got fed up in a way because I'm using a new home site. It's billions of no Science Circle or something, and there's lots of great talks happening there. And I keep finding out about the talks after they've happened. And when I said, why am I not hearing about these? They said, oh, it's only the inner group of like six or a dozen of us that actually
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
attend. And yeah, I thought, oh, it's that private, campfire thing. But but they're having these guests that actually know. A couple of them, good friends of mine, who've been doing living talks, and um, yeah, I couldn't get in. So I begin to feel that we're getting back. This used to be a problem with Second Life many years ago. The elitist thing that seemed to keep you out of some of the most interesting things. The elite would be IM'd at the last minute, and they'd all be teleported into places, and anybody else to try to get in, well, tough shit.
Yeah. Well, and
It
I
was.
mean, they do have that concern about they just have very limited bandwidth.
Well, exactly.
Yeah.
But I mean, one of the reasons my Second Life, but I have another Twitter account, twitter.com, Malbones_writer. Uh, the third Twitter account you don't hear often. Now, I try and cover arts and destinations in Second Life there, as well as the old machinima and stuff. But I had to be very careful with events because I'm actually contributing to, if I advertise an event for somebody, if it's a small event or somebody you can get, like an art gallery, you can go back to at your own leisure. That's one thing. But I stopped advertising events that I thought would be interesting, but we're going to get a lot of people because by the time people follow the link, the regions are full, and I don't, it's time wasting. I do not want to go to all the trouble of launching a separate client for a virtual world, logging in, then teleporting to where an event is supposed to be, only to find out I can't get in. That's like going out of your house for getting on a train back in the days when you could do that and crossing town to get to a venue, going to the venue, which has been saying plenty of seats available, and then getting to the door and saying, sorry, we're full. You
Mm-hmm.
know,
Which does
I
happen.
don't,
I mean,
it does
that's
happen,
real
but I'm
life,
not
right?
doing it. Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, it was worse in real life, of course.
Yeah.
But to me, it's easy to waste half an hour downloading an updated client, a special Second Life viewer, then logging into that, then going to a form and registering to attend the event, which is like to me like getting a ticket, and then waiting patiently to so you're in at 25 past waiting for the half hour to come so that you can then teleport into the event, and then finding 1 minute past the mark you can't get in,
Yep.
and hang out in some newbie center that they sent you to as a replacement, and then try again, and then again, and then finally just quit the view and think, well, I just wasted half an hour, didn't I? Fortunately, I was actually on another computer at the time. It's another event in Zoom with 250 people online all at once, which was running quite smoothly and was far more satisfying than a clunky Second Life that didn't work. So
So there you go,
that
Lindens.
yeah, so there you go, quite right. So yeah, firstly, the interesting talks I can't get to because I'm not elite enough. And secondly, the interesting broadcast technology events that I want to find out about, I can't get into either because they didn't honour the booking. Well, screw them. Right, okay. Let me close that. I'm just saying very quickly. Um, I mentioned we do have another feed, which is at twitter.com/, Metaworld News. And we're just going to look at a couple of things from there, if I can figure out. Okay, 6 days ago, this would have been Monday. Readyplayer.me. Okay. Um, oh, yes, this is quite interesting. Um, you can make 3D avatars for games and VR based on a single selfie. So you just do this kind of stuff. And well, it's as you can see, my it's
Oh, are we gonna
if
see it?
my if
Are we
my
gonna see
if
it? I'm looking.
No, if my webcam was actually active,
Ah,
it would take a selfie, and it would then um,
no glimpse behind the scenes. Oh
something went
no.
wrong. No wonder. I probably could. It means I need to. Yeah. No, we'll do that on. I'm going to come to that in a minute. We'll do
All
that on
right.
another
All
program, I
right.
think. Right. Okay. So they're good avatars too. They're rather like the 3D block or whatever that was making. They were making avatars for high fidelity
Mm-hmm.
based on a selfie, and their service now allows you to make an avatar for the Mozilla Hubs world too. And so, although it's very plain and unembellished, they do really look like the photo. Not in a photorealistic way, but in a sort of stylized way. I had no difficulty recognizing myself in the avatar they built for me.
Did you drop back to the different page?
Oh, frig. No, I closed the page we were
Okay.
on, and
What was the page?
it's
What was that called?
oh God, hang on. Uh, reopen last tab. All right, this is what I'll keep that one open for now. Okay, it's Ready Player, as in Ready Player One, or one
Okay.
word.
Yep.
Ready Player dot me.
Okay.
And oh, sorry, this actually is Wolf. That's the one I was trying to think of. Wolf 3D, right? This is they're the same company that did this service for High Fidelity.
Okay.
So they're
Perfect.
now advertising it for Mozilla Hubs, but actually, once you've made an avatar, it's probably fairly portable. I don't know whether you could get it into Second Life or OpenSim, but you could almost certainly get it into modern worlds like Science Space and stuff. I would think.
Yeah. Cool.
Anyway, yeah, and I remember you did. We did. They did make. You did make one with them
I did make one
when
with them.
as Wolf 3D. I think it
Yep.
was in High
In
Fidelity.
high fidelity. Yep.
Yeah.
I've
Okay, I'll
abandoned
leave
that
that.
now.
Yeah, I'll well, I'm waiting for some new builds that are coming along from the independents,
Okay.
but there's still so you can still get into high fidelity and go to things actually. Um, anyway, moving on. Okay, the other link at Metaworld News is to a video. Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. This is sort of the Somnium VR is one of those ones I never particularly paid attention to because of their blockchain and the idea is you buy land and invest in virtual currencies and things. But they did release this video which is showing the sort of state of the virtual world. It's being used much more now. I mean, initially all that seemed to be happening was people were buying land, but they've now actually started building and holding events. And I guess they're hoping it will be the new Second Life, but I don't. I think it's possibly got too much of a commercial model, and I've never really gotten into this Bitcoin and blockchain stuff, um, which is very new. But I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, as you can see, they've got a little preview there. Let me remove that one. Come on, close. Well, yeah. Right. Okay. Hypergrid, hypergrid business. I have a
Oh.
report on Kitely. This is Maria with her figures again. Basically, just announcing that Kitely's market has now surpassed a quarter of a million US dollars in
Mm,
sales, which is all very nice for Elan, of course,
yeah.
who will probably be texting me and World here in a second, say, "Come to the staff meeting." I always get a text from him just as I'm going off air here. Right. Yeah, a lot of it's just a roundup of what kind of market is, rehashing old stuff. But anyway, yeah, they are growing. They're growing.
Excellent.
And so I forgot to tell you that hypergridbusiness.com, that site was. Okay. HYPERGRIDBUSINE. All right. Next site, Need a Hug, it says. This is the Avatar Chronicles.com. AVATARCHRONICLES.com. And they've got other posts here as well, but this struck me as one to stick up. Actually, does need a hug, and they're just discussing. It's really um, the slow they give out here actually is for Second Life, but the article itself could apply to anything really. About socializing and avatars online, basically, in the lockdown era. Um, right, the next link, again, all these links, these last four, and the next one are at twitter.com, Metaworld News. Um, this one is hypergrid.zone, and this post is Weelandia. Weelandia! Well, I'm a sucker for cats. These ones
Mm-hmm.
are called dinkies, actually. That one looks like my Second Life avatar, actually. Except the head does. The rest of it's got a shit body. I've got a proper mesh cat body. I have. Right. We land here in Digiworld, home for dinkies. Yes. So, we land here is a home for the dinkies and tinies community. And if you're a homeless Digiworld dinky, you can get a free home. I don't quite know what it is. I presume that these avatar. It's a particular kind of avatar called Dinky, and you get them. Now this is talking about the grand opening. A party, but it's spelled Porty, Pauty.
Hmm.
They're really into this. You can tell by all the obvious typos. Um, Anyway, Dinkies are kitty avatars that are rigged mesh creations from somebody called Etheria Parrot. That's an avatar name if I ever heard one.
Mm-hmm.
They stand around 2 foot 10 inches tall, which puts them in the tiniest category, but they're used to standard biggie animations. Um, they originated Second Life and were later in InWorlds, and they are now in OpenSim. So this is in DigiWorlds, but you can the only place you can buy them is on the Utopia Sky Grid, which is utopiaskygrid.com colon 8002 is the port you need for that. So yes, a bit about Dinkies and Wheelandia. Gosh golly. Well, yeah, never mind. Right, moving on up to my final post in this list. Oh yeah, May 10th, today. Belter has a full slate of events for this week. Join us for at least one. Get specific events at the landing point. This is another Kitely one, and it's uh, 8,002. Grid.kitely.com. So grid.kitely.com colon 8002 colon bell tear or BELLE space TERRE, and uh, let's just see if this will work. Don't know if it'll be any more readable. No, you'd think they would have sized up that illustration so that it could be read, but clearly not. Anyway, yeah, you right. Frida's place. This is it. This is it. So yeah, nothing much easier. I can actually show you. But there's the hypergrid address you would need if you wanted to go there. And yeah, this is published today. I think one of these have. Right, I think there's some event that's actually on tonight, other than the Kitely meeting, and I think one of those things is there, but I don't seem to have the most informative link there for you, unfortunately. So that's that. Okay, I think we are done. Oh, I did have a picture in the picture department. It's not really got anything to do with what we go on about here, but James saw this at the beginning as well when I put it up. Sorry, I'm not
That's
intending
good.
to it.
Yep.
I was not intending to resize the frame, but It's funny. It's the same. In case you can't tell, except for the last one where there's an artist signature, it's the same picture, like a comic, but it's the artist. Then it's the artist in isolation. Then it's in artist in quarantine, and it's the artist out of quarantine. And the message there is, so what?
Mm-hmm.
Isn't
What's
it?
new?
But as I said to James before we came on air, it resonated here not only because I'm into articles anyway, but because anybody, me and my partner often used to say, we were self isolating for the last 10 years. Anyway, oh, sure, we didn't, it wasn't, you weren't, you could still go out and shop in your own time and travel and everything else like that. But increasingly, people's lifestyles, including my own, have been involved. I'm not in front of an easel. My canvas is actually three computer screens, as a matter of fact. But the metaphor is there almost. You can, if you replace that easel and painting with a computer screen, there are a lot of people whose the picture of them at work or even at play will be the same before, then in isolation, then in quarantine, and then if there is ever an after, the same then too. Um, so the artist is just a great example of a profession or an occupation where all this business almost doesn't matter. You know, this traditional artist can. I mean, presumably he'll have to do a bit of social distancing when he goes out to buy some more paints. But I mean, apart from that,
Mm-hmm.
maybe his food and everything else. But you get the idea. I just thought the image kind of resonated a little bit with. Still getting these wheelies coming up, but plenty around. Don't know what's going on. Anyway, so that was the picture of the week, so to speak. Let's just put these things away, and we'll stay with that screen up for now, I guess. Right. So, James, your thoughts on all that this week?
Well, I actually do have a particular thought this week, and it was interesting
Hmm.
because you read something about this when you were showing the fellow with the UK pub that he had built.
Oh yes,
And
yeah.
on that article, unrelated, I heard you say um, that Oculus Quest is having its iPhone moment. And I don't know where you picked up on that text, but that's what I was discussing earlier. And I watch a program called the VR Download, which is the
Oh
editors
yeah.
from the VR Upload have a weekly program that they stream from inside of the Facebook platform. Um,
Right.
but
From
anyway,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, they were having a discussion this week, and they were saying, do you know when you're having the iPhone moment while it's going on? And no, typically you don't. That's something in retrospect that you say, oh, that was the iPhone moment. And their
Yeah.
discussion was good, and they felt, yeah, this is the iPhone moment for the Oculus Quest headset. And I kind of tend to feel the same.
Specifically for Oculus Quest
Yeah.
or for
Yep.
not for headsets in
Right,
general.
right. And one of the fellows there, his statement was that for him, the iPhone moment is when Grandma gets an iPhone, and
When grandma, did you
yeah,
say?
grandmother when when
Yeah, right.
someone in the family who's senior gets the iPhone, and he says he sees that happening with the Oculus Quest. It's expanding beyond the gamers and the aficionados.
Right. This, I think, this will be the one, isn't it? It's from.
Yep, yep,
I've just hopped over to the Slack list, so
yep,
so I keep all the other links. Yeah, VR download from. Oh yeah, there we are.
yep.
Upload VR.
All right.
Yeah, and I'm subscribed to that.
And that
Yeah, I think
discussion
that.
was a follow
Yeah,
on from discussions about the latest game metrics, about how much VR is being tracked by Steam. How many things are adopting it, and how many people are adopting it, how many people are
yeah.
using their headsets, and it's going up. It's good.
Do you think? Did you get the? I mean, Quest does seem to, it's the latest one. You can have it untethered, or you can make it tethered as well.
Hmm.
And then, as of course, we had the other news and earlier on about they're working on the next model, which will be cheaper and but actually better.
Lighter,
They
right?
claim
Right.
lighter, better, cheaper, or something.
Hmm.
Yeah, I well, I mean, it's clear that this is a focus in the VR sphere. I still am not sure, even despite lockdown and everything. I mean, there's been a shortage of headsets available, so for people trying to buy them, Quest was out of stock since the lockdown begun, I think, from all the main stores in Britain.
Hmm.
And, very few of them are open, but even the online ones didn't have it in stock.
Right.
Um, so this stuff's harder to get. Um, I can imagine, people who are resigning themselves to lockdown being a long-term thing. Of course, nobody really knows, but I think it probably will be.
Hmm.
Then they might want to invest in some of these things that they would never have bothered to invest in if they were out and about. But I still think that the market for the headsets as they are at the moment, until they become as easy to put on as glasses, I still think it's the enterprise where it has very specific things. So I can imagine sales taking off there. And I suppose gamers who haven't yet got one. I don't get the impression there's many people around who want to buy an Oculus Quest just so that they can load the big screen program and watch a movie with friends when they can do the movie itself is 2D. There's a lot of easier ways they can do it. Unless, of course, they're in a small room and don't have a big size monitor, in which case maybe the in your face view is an attraction. Like an IMAX view, isn't it?
Yeah.
Um, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I'm watching it all happen. I mean, I do appreciate that. Like, I'm at the age where I mean, my eyesight suffers a bit these days. So the last thing I want to do is strain it in a headset. And I always look whenever I see an advert for a headset that's apparently got prescription glasses attached to it. I think, oh, well, that's interesting. Maybe, maybe there is a future for that kind of thing too, with for myopia and stuff. But yeah, I don't. I do see the point. I mean, whether I would go as far as to say Oculus is having an iPhone moment, I don't know. Um, Not even an iPad moment. I don't know. I mean, the other thing though is I find it really scary that some companies, especially the Facebook Corporation, are going to, come out of this period of lockdown, from our point of view, a hell of a lot stronger. That this is the time where any aspirations they had to monopolize is the perfect time for them to do it. The more they can pump out to people left locked at home and stuff, even stuff that they didn't put their name on at first, just to get it out there and then incorporate it into the main thing later. Microsoft are doing it with, as soon as Zoom becomes popular, Microsoft suddenly alters Skype again to mimic Zoom. And then Google Meet is now mimicking Zoom. They all copy each other, of course. But the ones that have actually had well, the balls, the nerve to copy each other, but they've also got the money to do it. So it's the same monopolies that are actually copying each other, trying to get in on this act. I'd like to see more of the startups coming online, as a result of this lockdown, rather than seeing it as, an investment strategy for huge corporations that are there already. Um, I don't know, I'll get into the rabbit hole on this, or
Yep.
the philosopher's stint, won't I, as
Yep.
you call it. But talking of which, I mean, this isn't so much a rabbit hole; it's a sort of private news thing, really. Um, as I mentioned, I went to this lockdown festival on Friday, and what I thought was going to be a half-hour visit for a talk ended up being I think it was 14 hours marathon before
Mm.
I got out of it. Starting at midday in the UK here, and then into the early hours of Saturday morning. Um, clearly there are things going on here. This Zoom festival, it reminded me of, long before this news program, our main focus was a program called In World Review, which we still do now and again if there's a good reason for it, which isn't news delivery, it's discussion. But that came out of another program that my late partner Tara Yates and I did on the web initially called the Metaverse Week in Review. And we used a service called Operator 11, which is a bit finicky to kind of load our web cameras into a grid. And Tara and I would host it, and I'd have a few videos at Machinima to show offline to brighten the show up a bit. And then people would log in to the show with their web cameras, and they'd sort of lurk in the background, and then I'd put them on air. We had Ian Hughes, and we had Slim Warrior, Jojo Dara, I think Pathfinder, Lester was with us a few times. I mean, there's actually a whole roster of people. We were never short of guests. The problem was actually shutting up some of the guests and getting them off, cutting them. Joel Foner was another one who always used to come on, give us big pictures. Um, Zoom reminded me of that, except this thing that I was actually at the other day had like 250 participants, which we could never cope with. We got laggy on Operator 11 with, about more than a dozen live webcams at once, whereas Zoom can handle 250 without too much of a problem. Um, I doubt if even Skype or Google's Meet could actually do that. Yes, it's clear Zoom has obviously had the compression in place for this kind of stuff since the start, and they were lucky enough to become the ubiquitous channel of communications for the lockdown era. So in a way, I'm glad that happened, and it wasn't Google or Google Meet or Skype that got in on the app first. Although they're quickly rushing to occupy that field. But it has made me think a bit about what our Metaworld, sorry, broadcasting is doing. We lost my partner Tara some time ago now, and it was very much Metaworld broadcasting was very much a joint thing for us, and including the registration and the running of the websites and everything else was her department. So, although I'll probably keep MBTV as Melbourne's TV, I don't know how much I will use the MetaWorld branding in future. But being at this thing on Friday made me think of the idea of maybe reviving the Metaverse Week in Review before it became the In World Review, as it used to be in Operator 11. I've been looking around. I noticed that with lockdown here, a lot of the old faces that I remember coming on that program seem to have resurfaced here, there, and everywhere. I've only been in touch, you know, chat wise with a couple of them, but it's quite possible one could do that again. I could even if it was once a week, I could even use the same title. So it'd be like a little talking. Let's have our own elitish meetup
Yeah.
of the old folks from the original Metaverse Week in Review, which probably hasn't existed now for 10 years because well I lose track of dates. Sadly, I haven't got the archives because there's something that Tara had, and I don't think they're wherever she stored them. I don't think they'll be retrievable by anybody over there in Washington. But we'll see. But I keep thinking back to them, and I'm still in touch with a lot of people who, that was our first venture, as it were. The Meta World Broadcasting was just a name then. That was, well, called ourselves something. And then we launched the websites and all sorts of other things, and then it sort of it sort of fizzled down to a trickle over the years anyway. Um, so I'm for those of you who've seen this, I wonder how you were feeling about that. Do you like the idea of, you know, I mean, I'll break your monitor. Well, if your monitors were still made of glass, having my real life webcam on will break them. But now they're LCD panels. Maybe they can cope with my real face after all. But no, seriously. Do would you? I'd say, oh yeah, like John McMahon, Ham Rambler from Second Life. You know, he used to be on every week with us. So I just sorry, the more I think about it, the more I think back and kind of think, you know, well, dropping in and out of the program back in those days, even when it was just on a webcam thing. I mean, you know, we had an average of probably 20 or so people dropping in and out per show, and that was independent of there was no accurate way of seeing of telling how many people were watching that weren't participating. Yeah, Operator 11 was far from. It was great in its day as being different and seemingly unique, but it was far from robust, shall we say?
Hmm.
There are a lot of things missing, and when live stream uh, um, came along, the actual company called Livestream, well, they were called Modulus when they began. When they came along, you know, we just hopped over there from Operator 11 and there was no looking back. And their in-house studio also changed our program because it altered the way we did the things we were doing already, if you see what I mean, by and large. It's been a long, you know, well over a decade of a journey here, you
Hmm.
know,
Sure.
from you know, to broadcasting avatars, and but broadcasting avatars does up until now, I've thought indicates a sort of future, maybe, you know, when our avatars will actually look like holograms of ourselves and we'll be communicating this way. And of course, we're now in a situation where this is the future. But also, it's going to be an interesting time to see what really does take off and what doesn't. You know, clearly the attraction of a Zoom party is, you know, even at this early stage, is greater than the idea of a virtual world party. And I'm not talking about Second Life or let alone Open Sim. I'm talking about the science spaces, the VR chats, the rec rooms, all the other ones. Some of which are, I mean, VR chat particularly is very popular with different things. But even so, those immersive environments just seem to be paling compared to the way people are hopping onto Zoom. They're almost saying, well, if you've got Zoom, I don't need an avatar. I just, you know, my webcam is my avatar, um, for better or worse. Anyway, some thoughts there.
Hmm.
Thoughts amongst other things, you know, I've been um, you know, rethinking of those things. Certainly, this news will continue as is. I think maybe I'll have to plan this out with James. I think maybe we could move to Science Space or Mozilla Hubs or something like that when we got some decent avatars and a set sorted, because that might be quicker and more practical, bearing in mind that the major part of the news is where I'm actually talking over the screen share of the links. It almost doesn't matter where the avatar presence is. I could even do this as a live action webcam job, really, just covering my face up with links. But you know, but the new, you know, this is what it is. I tend to, I often look back on some of these programs and think, how did we take so long? I only had 20 pages up, and somehow I filled the whole hour talking about 20 pages, and some of them weren't. You know, how did I spend so long talking about them? You know, especially when you know, there are, as James mentioned, VR upload, I think it is. Then, yeah, the VR download, which is a conversation program. They also do produce another one.
Hmm.
Is it, um, which is literally only 4 minutes. It's a roundup of the week. It will,
Hmm.
you know, I think it will come out tomorrow or midweek. And they, like, you know, it's like they're not putting up web pages talking about them. They're just talking over the latest news and making it very quick, giving you only a roundup of information, no real detail. They leave it to you to go and investigate anything more. And they seem to cover a lot quickly.
Yep.
But you know, it's a different style. So anyway, I mean, but as ever, you know, any thoughts on this? I mean, sort of I always wonder where this news show would expand. If you can probably tell from the titles when we come in, I was always wondering if Maria would Korolev, for example, would be back with us at some point. Um, but I'm probably going to refresh the whole look at the program anyway, regardless. Um, because it is strictly news delivery. It's really, the highlights from the stuff I highlight on Twitter every day, but packed together in a audio format for the week. Audiovisual format, I should say. So, yeah, some thoughts there. Would you like to see the Metaverse Week in Review return? Or talking Avatar style, would you, anybody have ideas for what maybe in World Review should be doing? Certainly, if anybody out there is interested in coming in and taking part in these things, I mean, even if you've got an idea you want to co-host something, it's a kind of stirring the melting pot a bit here, really.
Yep.
I do not really have time to go out rustling up and hustling up people to come on in real with you to do an interview and stuff like that. I'm more than happy to pop in and interview them if they want, or to have a discussion or host a discussion with people who want, and we can film it, as a rule, as well. Although there is nothing to stop it being something that somebody else films that I pop along to. I don't really care these days. But I just want to hear more about what we could do. Talking of Ilan Totner, Kitely, I've just got my IM demanding I teleport to their
Offering. It's an
location.
offer. It's a
Yeah, I
friendly
know it
offer.
is.
Yep.
I know it's a friendly. Well, it can't be. It's a form. It's like a form. It's always the same.
Yep.
Blah blah has offered to teleport to you the location and blah blah blah. Yeah. Well. Anyway, I think we've had it for this week. Unless there's anything else to you from James. God, I'm getting rattled. Um, uh,
I think I've done
my, my
enough.
my speech is getting jumbled. Put it
Yeah.
another way.
I've done
Yeah.
enough damage today, Mel.
We've had done enough damage to both
Yep.
of ourselves, I think. Okay, that is fine then. Okay, well, with those thoughts, disjointed as they were in mind, we will say goodbye until next week. So it's goodbye from him,
And it's goodbye from him.
and that means it's goodbye from both of us. Until then, we bid you a good week. Bye bye.